Welcome to the Heroes of Cosplay on YouTube. This is your host, ScottyB. Of course, joining me this week is the amazing and astounding Astrovoid Cosplay, our co-host for your show.
Hello, hello, as always.
Folks, yes, hello. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like the video, and join us as we talk about some different things every single week. This week, we are going to talk about going viral, or actually when you should not think about going viral. So it's often something that comes up inside of the cosplay community, trying to game your videos and make it something that everybody wants to click on and make it so that you blow up and you get all these followers and get all these likes. And yeah, so Astra, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, I guess. We try and keep it light and positive on the show, of course. And this topic I just thought would be good to bring up because it just comes up a lot. And I guess trying to give people tips and my thoughts on social media and just like how things work. Like we have a small YouTube channel, and maybe it's not always going to be that way, and maybe it takes a while to get somewhere. But I will always be an advocate of consistency and adding value, teaching, being part of the conversation. So a viral video, totally different approach to your content. You're chasing a trend or you're trying to set one, and you're creating content that will really not paint necessarily a picture of your brand. It's really just something that you hope a lot of people see. So that can really end up not working to your advantage in the long run. It's very unsustainable for content. It can be really, it can be bad for you, like just inside of your head. Like it can be bad because the way that you think about what you have to do from that point on. Like let's say this just works, you go viral, and now you've set a standard for yourself, right? Where you have to always be thinking about what's the next thing that I can do to like outdo myself. So it can almost get kind of toxic for you and like what you want to do and like your journey through not just cosplay, but bringing all of this online and sharing all of your content with everyone. Is it something that you've thought about, just like viral content at all, Astra?
So it's kind of a yes and no, because if I always say this, but if you're going into cosplay or content creation in general to become famous or to whatever, then I always say that you're in it for the wrong thing. So it should always be about your passion and about your craft and about what you want to do. It should never be about, getting rich quick or blowing up, but at the same time, it can be rewarding. It can be fun to have your stuff seen by people. And I think that usually, and obviously this isn't always the case, but usually when some people who are very passionate about what they do, when they do go viral, you can usually tell the difference between like people who just do it to do it and people who do it because they love doing what they're doing. Especially with like TikTok, stuff can just go viral for no reason. I posted a video trying on my Supergirl suit and didn't even have my wig on. I had my hair curled and didn't have the makeup on either. I just was myself and I just put it on and I did like a quick little video and it got like 250,000 views roughly or something like that. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like
it was really
random.
Cool.
But random. But yeah, sorry, I don't mean to cut off.
No,
but okay. It's just it's one of those things where it's like, yes, it can be really good, but no, it shouldn't be your priority. But it can also kind of become addicting once you get that taste. And it's just a matter of balancing that out. And you never want to jeopardize your content and your morals for the sake of going viral. When you do that, you lose your integrity and you also lose what you're trying to do. So if you go viral for some random video that you make, and you might gain followers from that, but you'll lose them over time because they think, this person makes content like this all the time. And then you don't, and you actually do something else, and you lose that following that you gained from that one video. And people don't care as much. So it's better to have that slow growth over time and like build a family than it is to just boom, and then die.
Yeah, and people like they'll be coming to you for a different thing, and it's great when it happens, you know, if it just happens. But when you try and curate viral content, it oftentimes will leave you disappointed because it doesn't work that way. So it's really what platform you're on, it's the type of content that you normally create, and if you're always trying to game things like that, it can backfire on you. And yes, it's not necessarily the kind of traffic that you want if you're trying to build a platform where you're also monetizing. Because if those people are just seeing it and it's a flash, like even if you get 1 million views for 1 million seconds, sure, that's cool. But if they're not looking at anything else, they're not coming back, it's not going to really help your traffic over time. So like YouTube's all about watch time. That's how they monetize for you. You get a certain amount of followers, and then it's the hours that people watch your video. But with other platforms, I think it's more just that very quick hit. But the problem is you're not getting a whole lot for that anyways. Like in just building organic traffic with social media, like I always mention or I always reference that, you know, it's not your platform. Like you don't own TikTok, you don't own YouTube, you don't own Twitch. It's somebody else's service. So unless you have your own website, that would be the place where you would want to like curate all of those clicks to go. With viral content, those people are usually just passing by. Like they're there for that video, not necessarily for anything else that you might be doing to monetize or things that you offer, you know, all of the different prints or all of the different, you know, like Patreon things that you've got going on. Like they're not necessarily there for that. Like you might get a few people, and people might argue against me that, well, if I got all this traffic, you know, that's at least, you know, some of those people are going to click. Sure, but they're also going to, again, it's not sustainable. It's going to be like a 1 month and done, or even a week. You know, they're not going to stay for very long. So that is really the place where, you know, I would caution the cosplayer to just going after viral content, or just going after, you know, like I'm only going to do these things because they're the only things that people are looking for. Well, it's art, sort of, right? Like it's things that you enjoy doing. So if you enjoy, you know, obscure characters that nobody's heard of, I do. So it doesn't always matter. Like I'm going to do them anyways. You know, if the comedian isn't cosplayed very often, I wouldn't cosplay him just because nobody else cosplays him. I do because I like the character and it'd be kind of cool. Not because, you know, like, oh, everybody's going to want to take a look at this. I don't think I really see myself as an influencer. I don't know how you feel about the term, Astra, of being that person that everyone goes to online.
Uh, I don't know. Again, mixed feelings. Like, you know, as somebody who kind of grew up on the internet in terms of like YouTube and stuff like that, looking up to certain people, watching people, I can understand it. I can understand that perspective of it, but I've never been on the other side of the coin until recently, where I've had a lot of like a flood of people be like, "Oh, you inspire me. You do this. You do that. I look up to you," and it's a lot, and I've never had that before. And it is a responsibility in a way, but I also want to say that like, you know, followers and going viral don't really equate to a person being an authority on topics. I've had a lot of instances where people come to me, especially recently with TikTok, and they'll be like, "You have a platform now. You need to speak out about this and this and this." And it's like, hey, I don't really feel comfortable doing that, or that's not what I do, and I don't think I should, you know? Um, and, you know, it can be a lot of stress, but yeah, I think that it's one of those words where it's like you don't really have a better word for it, so you just kind of go with it, but you don't really know if it fits. It's kind of like people that follow me. It's like I have people who are like, "Oh, those are your fans," and I'm like, "No," you know, like I hate that word. I'm like, "No, they're like my friends. They're like my supporters, like you know, my family." Like I don't want to say fans. Like that feels so gross to me. I don't know why. It just does. Um, but I guess I just don't see them like that. That's weird to me. But yeah, I don't, and also if I wouldn't be considered an influencer, then like, what would I be considered? But also, at what point does somebody gain that title, I guess? Is it a million followers on TikTok? Is it a million followers on YouTube, or subscribers? I mean, like, what if it's not here, then where is it? Where is that line? And what would you call that? So I guess it's one of those things where it's like, the internet and all of this is so relatively new, per se, in the sense that we don't really have a solid lingo yet. Like, we don't really have a solid thing. So as uncomfortable as it is, I mean, it's still true. Like, those are my fans. I don't like that word, but it's true. And like, I guess technically, going by the definition, I am a social media influencer. Doesn't mean I like that term, but it's just kind of is what it is. I don't
Yeah,
know if
well,
I have a,
and
yeah.
it's not our sole purpose for being here. We're not
No,
here. We're not here
right.
just to like curate these people or get the brand deals.
No, and that was never
That's not
my
the whole
intention
point.
either.
Yeah.
Right. Like, when I started doing TikTok, it was quite literally just for fun. I was just goofing around with my best friend and, you know, doing things that I love to do in the nerdy stuff that I love to do. Um, and that kind of caught on, I guess. But yeah, it's I don't know. It depends, I suppose, because it definitely wasn't my intention. But I'm here now, so um,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I guess I can leave it with, my final thought on it would be that really the idea is that you build a body of work. So that would be, being present online, being consistent, keeping quality, quality within your content, and not just trying to game clicks with everything that you put out. So you have something that you're there to provide for people who follow you versus whether that's entertainment or whether that's education or whatever that you choose it to be, that sharing your cosplay or sharing your ideas or the fandoms and the geekdom and all that fun stuff that we will get into in later episodes, that it's establishing a body of work, which is the credibility that reinforces everything that you're doing, which a viral video doesn't necessarily do. It's just a one-off. So if people see that and there's nothing behind it, then there isn't all of that reinforcement to say, oh, okay, you know, this person does this, but they also have all of this other stuff that they're about. So that's kind of where I wanted to go with the episode, just to really talk about that difference and just like getting into the right frame of quality of content, quality of your headline, and quality of your thumbnail, especially if we're talking about YouTube. And that's the Derral Eves approach. I can link to him in the description if you've never heard of him before. You may have. He's pretty influential on YouTube. He knows a lot about it, and I do really I like his approach to creating content online. It's very cool. I have other people, but yeah, that's really all I have to say today, everybody. And Astor, would you like to send us on our way?
Always. So, as always, thank you so much for watching and thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I know Scotty appreciates it. If you enjoyed the episode or anything at all, please leave a like or a comment. Please subscribe. That would be really nice. And yeah, we will see you guys in the next episode. If you care to follow any of our socials, I'm sure they'll be down there in the description. But I am Astra Void Cosplay across all platforms. That is where I will be.
Yep, and at Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary, of course, subscribe to the videos, and we will see you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.